Hello, folks. Oh, how's everybody doing tonight? 12:02 in Vegas. Indeed, I'm so much more professional than this, but look, I was not having any technical difficulties. I was caught in a competitive match that took a little bit longer than it should have. So, I'm not a quitter. Never say that Denobi 2 is not a quitter. Hello, everybody around the world. All right, what do we got here? King Tutankhamun. Hello. 3 a.m. in Delaware. Lionel, hello from Singapore. Very cool. 3:52 p.m. Aha. Stop here with Singapore and in Asia and Hong Kong. If there is a Hot Toys release tonight, let me know in the comments so that I can cover it. We're going to be talking about that. There's a few things I'd like to talk about. 12 a.m. in Los Angeles. Hello, Riley Ramirez. You know, I didn't think I'd be getting U.S. collectors. I figured you kids here in the U.S. would be sleeping. But, as always, it's a welcome. Hello, Riley. Thank you for joining. Raymond the Guzman, what's up? L.A. What's going on here? Joe Mama 007. At this point, Mando is going on the throne instead of Boba. Wow, we're not wasting any time here, are we? Hey, I thought it was my job to be the harsh critic, but that's the whole point of this midnight run. Midnight run. Oh my God, we're back. A midnight run. Lovely. Looking forward to the stream. Thank you. 3 a.m. East Coast. Hello, Bob Dylan, as always. You know, Bob, I forgot to promote you. You have been recommended as a moderator, and I do need a moderator. Oh, that was me. My bad. 8 a.m. in the UK, Andre. 8 a.m. and they had my cereal, shave, and shower, and ready for the stream. Lord Day One. Look, hey, if you kids listened to Lord Day One Prejor, we wouldn't be in this mess, right? All right. What do we got here? Mitzelplick. Yes, Mitzelplick 1202. I got you. Did I get Portland? Yoda. Oh, hello, Yoda. Thank you for joining. Thank you. South Carolina. Funky Cold Santa. Have you joined me in a midnight run? I don't remember seeing you in a midnight run. But if this is your first time, welcome. We're going to talk about some things. What is this here? 3 a.m. MTL QCCA Quebec, Canada, right? Those are codes, right? Sorry, I don't have my protocol droid activated here. New England reported in. Look at you. East, that's right. Maine, Rhode Island, all that jazz. UK Sith. Morning. Checking in from Manchester. Wow, look at that. We got a crowd. Boy, you guys, there's a little crowd here for a Sunday, well, technically a Monday morning, Monday at midnight. Never enough funnies. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're gonna talk about Star Wars, Yoda. This is gonna be a midnight run dedicated 3 a.m. in Tatooine, California. We got plenty of Californians. Portland, the West Coast. The Hadalorian from Sin City. Shouldn't you be in bed, Hadalorian? Shouldn't you be in bed? Belgium. Ooh, Ecto 17, you've joined her. What time is it in Belgium? Come on, you know the rules. Miami. Wow, big crowd. Fennec is going on my throne. If you haven't already, I did submit a poll, and there are several reasons why I really wanted to conduct a midnight run, and the last couple of weeks for me, I work from home, and I've been listening to the local influencers, YouTubers, and so forth here in the U.S., right? East Coast, West Coast, Pacific time. I felt, I was working earlier today, and I felt, I've been gathering so much data, so much input from U.S.-based collectors that it really hadn't crossed my mind that I'd really like to know what the rest of the world thinks about Book of Boba Fett. Midnight Run. All right, thank you for joining. Here we go. J Toys. Hello, J Toys. Is this your first time? I think this is your first time. I remember seeing you. 205 in Chicago. San Bernardino tapping it. Hello, Edwin. Thank you for joining in. Wow, look at that. Some young guy. Some young guy. Hello. Welcome. I mean no offense, but I wasn't sure if the name was a pun. If it is, you get 10 points. I love your collection. Thank you, Eduardo. I sense a disturbance with this Boba Fett. Too bad. 5 p.m. in Tokyo. Kaiju Daddy. Hey, Kaiju Daddy, it is always an honor. I feel humbled and honored that you have taken the time in your... it's Monday, right? It's Monday, 5 p.m. You exist in the future. So it's always a pleasure that you find the time to join the stream. Always. Look at that. Nicole the Great and Powerful. Goodness, there's a lot of... There's a crowd here tonight. Wow. I thought it would just be me by myself ranting, bitching, sharing my thoughts and opinions on the current state of Hot Toys, Star Wars, and the Book of Boba Fett. St. Augustine. I love St. Augustine. Haunted, creepy, haunted. I've done the ghost tours out there. Mignang, the real dino, the myth, the legend. As always, geeking out. You know, I did extend an invitation to Nate, but he's working. His hours change, just like the rest of us. You know, life comes first. Who else has sped up the Boba 2-pack pre-orders? Why would you? Oh. Well, I see where your allegiance lies in Yoda. You clearly do not want to wait till the end of the show before moving forward with your 2-pack of Boba Fett. Can't do the full run, but I'll jog for an hour. Hey, it's always an honor for you to join. Star Killer, hello. Star Killer, where are you coming from? East Coast, West Coast, around the world? Istanbul, where? We got here, and Nate. All right, we got folks. All right, so if you haven't already, Boba has started to slow down, but to make it till this is finished, we and the community tend to judge too quickly. You know what? We'll start with that. We'll start with that. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I've been gathering a lot of information on the Book of Boba Fett, and I had the opportunity to listen to Will Foxification's live stream earlier today, and it was very entertaining. I always enjoy his live streams. Yeah, he had a really good panel, and I listen to everybody. It's no secret. I listen to a lot of popular YouTubers who exist and thrive and live in the community. 1/6 Scale Cantina, 1/6 Scale Mafia. Dante from Man of Hot Collectibles does a kick-ass job with his reviews. I listen to everybody. I gather all the information, and I enjoy listening. On occasion, it is people's. It's their own opinions, right? As what they feel and think of what the current state of Star Wars is, right? I tend to think of it a little bit different, though. But, that's what makes the Star Wars IP so unique and very, very different. It's a intellectual property that I've said this before. It tends to segregate the fans and collectors in the community very harshly. In the Marvel community, we tend to have our disagreements. The Mark, 46 looks better than 47. Hawkeye looks like trash. Rooted hair for Scarlet and Black Widow and so forth. But with the Book of Boba Fett, it's such a cool, if you look at it from a different point of view, sort of like a science experiment, right? And like I mentioned, a little bit earlier in the stream, that I've been listening to so many streams here in the U.S. I felt it was important to listen to the voices from around the world because we all love our expensive toys, our expensive hot toys, and here in the U.S. we tend to think of ourselves that our opinions are the ones that only matter, right? That's just how we think. I apologize. Not everybody here in America carries a concealed licensed weapon. It's not like that. I understand that most people around the world think that we here in the U.S. do, but I should probably become an ambassador and spread the goodwill. Anyway, we're not talking about politics here. The point is that a lot of the influencers here in the U.S. have been spreading the holiday Christmas joy and a lot of fanfare, a lot of great success with how much they enjoy the show. And they should, right? There's nothing wrong. I mean, not everybody's going to like every show that gets pumped out and so forth. But what makes the Book of Boba Fett so different and so unique is that it influences our purchasing power, right? Most of us are probably on this stream, are probably still either have decided to move forward with the 2-pack of Boba Fett, or they have decided to, hey, you know what? I'm gonna kind of clutch my wallet, slow down, and I'm gonna kind of pause before I go over that speed bump because I would like to see how the show's going to end. Because when you're writing a story, when a story is being told, it's typically done in the 3 acts, right? Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. And the one act that everybody tends to remember is Act 3. So if you, as a collector out there, are exercising caution about making large purchases associated with the Book of Boba Fett, then you know what? That's actually pretty smart. It's actually very, very smart. Instead of jumping in without actually, taking your big toe and dipping into the water and seeing if you like the temperature of the water, if you think you can enjoy the swim. Well, we get Danny Trejo Hot Toys. Oh, goodness. All right. Hello from Switzerland. Dachart Hot Toys. Hello. From Switzerland. Are you excited? How do you pronounce it? It's Klingon, right? Dachtar. Are you excited for the Book of Boba Fett, Dachtar? That's the whole point. If you haven't already seen the survey, please share your opinion. I should disclose, I've mentioned this in a couple other streams, and I should probably mention this on my midnight run here, that going forward with the Book of Boba Fett, the actual show, I've only seen the pilot episode. I saw the first episode, and I sensed a big friggin' disturbance. I'm talking like, you know how the Jedi didn't see the cloud, they're being clouded. Oh yeah, I saw the Sith, trying to take over. I saw that it was a train wreck of a show, so I quickly moved on. I have not seen episode 2, and I have not seen episode 3. But what I have done, though, is listen and watched and read people's opinions on what they think of the show, right? I tend to work with a little bit of logic, and you're probably asking, well, Denobi, what are you commenting on this for on the toys? And, I tend to, as for me, as I've said this before, I love Star Wars, but I don't trust Star Wars. I am very conservative when it comes to Star Wars. You can see behind me that I do like to spend money, and I do love Star Wars. But when it comes to certain intellectual properties, certain factions of the Star Wars universe, I tend to pause and question. The pilot episode was just a big, huge train wreck. One of the things that really irks me is continuity errors. I can overlook one continuity error. I can maybe suspend disbelief and overlook 2 continuity errors in a story. But multiple, 3, 4, yeah, I can usually feel the disturbance. Like this show's not going to be very successful. And when it comes to the merchandise associated with this show, there's multiple figures that have been released into pre-order. The 2-pack Boba Fett has been released in Hong Kong, and I'm assuming within the next month or so, Sideshow would probably start doing shipments. If it was up to me, if I was on the board of Hot Toys, if I was one of the controlling board members of Hot Toys, I would have made an effort. I would have probably gone down to the assembly line, pushed over the little eight-year-old kids that are painting those little Boba Fett heads, and helped on the line to ensure that these packs would have been shipped and collect payment and so forth. Because even though I have not seen episode 2 and episode 3, I know the train has been derailed, and the cloud of doubt has probably fallen on a lot of Hot Toys Star Wars collectors. And it kind of like they're to the point where, like, oh my God, if this show ends on a bad note, would you still want the 2-pack? And there's going to be collectors out there that are going to probably still, right, out of stubbornness or whatever, they're probably going to still keep their 2-pack because they love the character being played by Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett. Even though they clearly cucked him in this show, when you're in love, love tends to blind you, right? It's kind of common, right? If you're in love with something, you're gonna overlook a lot of things. I'll be the first one to tell you that I felt Iron Man 3 was a script with the worst plot holes ever, the worst continuity. It was just a mess. And I was never in denial about it. I was one of the first persons, like, at the time, to mention that Iron Man 3 was just a huge shit show. But I still collected the suits because it was really, honestly, the suits that I fell in love with. It was actually the designs, the concepts, everything about it. It was awesome. It was really, really, really cool. But I've always been able to accept, yeah, it's a bad show. I felt reaching out and talking to individuals and close friends and families and so forth that they seem to be blinded. There are selected individuals. There is a small little rebellion out there of Hot Toy Star Wars collectors that recognizes, like, yeah, this show is just a huge train wreck of a mess. And then there's the ones that are the loyalists to the Empire that feel that this show can do no wrong. So ultimately, because it's on Disney Plus and the streaming numbers are suppressed, I don't know if they'll ever be released. Typically when a show's successful, Disney tends to brag about it. Will we ever get the actual ratings from this show? Who knows? I don't know. All we can really honestly judge is that the critics who review each episode, and ultimately it's going to be, with the amount of merchandise that's been released with the show, it'll ultimately be us, the Hot Toys collector consumers, who are going to be able to vote with our wallets. So, is the Hot Toys Star Wars market on the path to a potential crash? I believe it is. I really, really do. I'll go into a little bit more deep into this. Let me look at some of these comments here. Silver line right here behind. Pre-ordered. What do we have here, Nicole? That's why I went and pre-ordered Rex after ordering a single. Boba Fett had to have his face off the shelf. Weapons are ready. Oh no, we're not gonna. I don't want to get flagged, so we're not going to talk about that. It was a bad metaphor using that. Here we go. I saw a protocol droid in the last episode. Oh, that's cool. We saw a protocol droid in season 2 of The Mandalorian when Baby Grogu was eating a little cookie, little blue cookies. I would have put money down that we would have gotten a protocol droid release, but it's one of the biggest mysteries, right next to Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and why Hot Toys has not released a C-3PO Hot Toys. It's beyond belief why they have not done that. Danny Trejo. So I heard the first days of why was Danny Trejo an actor who is super uber friends with Robert Rodriguez, and Danny Trejo has been in most of his movies. He was in Machete. He played a villain in Desperado. And Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas is one of his boys. Robert Rodriguez has a little band of actors that he's really, really close friends with. Antonio Banderas is his BFF to Robert Rodriguez as Johnny Depp is to Tim Burton. I'm willing to bet, I'm almost honestly willing to bet we're going to see Antonio Banderas show up as a street vendor or a crime boss or something. So I would say 70-80% that we'll see Antonio Banderas show up, because Antonio Banderas will do anything that Robert Rodriguez will ask him to. If they haven't shown up yet, I'm assuming the grown-up Spy Kids will probably cameo, because Robert Rodriguez has a loyal troop of actors that are just loyal to him, and he's done a lot for, especially Antonio Banderas when he was struggling in the 90s, and he did a couple. It was Desperado and something else, the shootout film with the violin. So I expect to see Antonio Banderas show up. He hasn't. I think the only film he has on his roster right now is Uncharted, and he plays a villain in that. Danny Trejo. So I rambled there. Danny Trejo. He was the Rancor keeper from the photos I saw. If I was Hot Toys, if I was on the board of Hot Toys, and I saw the critical reactions to the 3 episodes, right? I'm assuming episode 2 was in favor, but it didn't leave a hook, and there was still some issues with it. If I was Hot Toys, I would be very cautious about releasing any characters associated with the series until Hot Toys receives real analytical numbers. I'm assuming Hot Toys would get access to that. I would expect Hot Toys to get access to that. It would be very important to get those type of numbers. We're not going to release something to do with the show and have it sit. We can go on Sideshow now, and the roster of Star Wars figures, it's already starting to get stockpiled there. I've heard all sorts of things, King Tutankhamun. I have heard Sideshow's this. I've heard they're behind. I've heard it all with the license for C-3PO, but I tend not to believe this one because there was a couple prototypes of C-3PO that I personally witnessed at San Diego Comic-Con before the end of the world. Besides episode 2, the show is really bad on all fronts: special effects, awful chasing, makeup department, where all the aliens really seem to be human with makeup and screenplay. Are the aliens very similar to the that Starship Cruiser that Disney has, that Star Wars online cruiser? I mean, if the aliens look like anything they showed us in those promo videos, I would run to the nearest escape pod and run and jettison out of there. Would be completely Machete, Grindhouse. There you go. On Planet Terror. There you go. Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is awesome when he's holding a weapon. I was going to say a specific weapon, but I don't want the video to get flagged. What do we got here? We have no idea. Forney seems to be. Yes, that seems to be the consensus that I've picked up from watching reviews and listening to streamers, that the Boba Fett that we got in season 2 of Mandalorian, and then when we got to his show, he's been clearly stripped of his manhood and has been cut. So, and he's had a couple asthma attacks. from what I so so I won't disagree with you, Yoda. Dude, the second episode is excellent. But will one good episode save a show? I guess that's the question we're starting to ask ourselves, right? Because there's doubt. I listened to the doubt in the community. Well, the second episode was great. Okay. We still have 4 more episodes. And if you're not invested into the merchandise, I guess it really doesn't matter as long as if you enjoy the show. But for us old farts who like to buy expensive toys, nobody wants to end up with an Electro in their collection, right? Will the 2-pack end up like Electro? I don't know. Star Wars Hot Toys is not immune to duds. We've seen plenty of duds that have been released in the Star Wars line from Hot Toys. Why should the Book of Boba Fett be any different or special? Why? Because he's Boba Fett? Why? Because he's the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy? No, I beg to differ. I didn't see any evidence of the greatest, baddest, ruthless bounty hunter in the pilot episode. I can tell you what I've seen so far. I saw that he was ruthless and cunning in Empire Strikes Back. He even had his swag in Return of the Jedi during the Jabba's court scene where he's flirting with the alien chicks. And look, he's allergic to Han Solo, and a Jaffe stick or whatever got tapped on his jetpack, and it short-circuited. He bounced off the sail barge, and his ass fell down the Sarlacc pit, and that was done. So, and going on the 40th anniversary later, we get the Book of Boba Fett, and we get the backstory, first episode. We get to see him crawl out of the Sarlacc pit, which to me looked like Tom Holland's friend Ned from Spider-Man No Way Home, wearing the Boba Fett armor, crawling out of the sand, looking like he was out of breath, like he needed his albuterol asthma pump. Wasted half of my time in flashback sequences being dragged through the desert of Abantha. A story arc with the Tuscans that was introduced to me in the pilot episode. Questionable special effects. The scene at night that was poorly lit. I got enough of that. I was able to pick up enough negative things from just the pilot episode and the predictable, lazy story writing that they were going to go through. And I remember telling this to a couple of friends. I think I went on Geeking Out too, where I go, they're going to waste our time with flashbacks. They feel that they need to explain to the audience what he's been doing for the last 5 years. I don't care about what he's been doing. I don't care about the dances with wolves and him and the Tusken Raiders. What I was sold on was the teaser at the end of season 2's Mandalorian, where he came in, he shot fat-ass Bib Fortuna off Jabba's throne. He sat in the throne. He swaggered up. He had his side chick sit on the right armrest. That was a hook. That was a strong hook. That got me. I was like, all right, okay. You reeled me in. You reeled me in really, really good. So I've tapped out. But I've tapped out of films and shows and certain things, and I'll still buy merch. I'm a very unique collector, though. What you need to understand from me when you listen to me is that I tend to think 3 to 4 dimensions. I try to think forward into the future. I don't think of the now. I think of the later. It's where a lot of my purchasing clicks happen to me. I've explained this process of how I collect when it came to the Ecto 1, right? I've told the story. People, why would you do this? Because I saw the potential, and I saw the historical significance of having a 1/6 scale Ecto 1. So even though I may dislike an intellectual property, or I may dislike a movie or so forth, it wouldn't stop me from buying the merchandise. But it would, in most cases, it may influence my decision. And the survey that I posted in this midnight run, and I really wanted to ask collectors from around the world who have taken the time to hang out with me on this midnight run, if you've pre-ordered any of the Boba Fett merchandise, Hot Toys, not the Black Series. The Black Series is just ridiculous. If the show does good, Black Series usually sells out. If the show does bad, it typically will sell out. Black Series figures, I'm not counting that. What I'm counting are the $250, $500 purchases. In fact, the 2-pack Boba Fett, for most collectors, it's on average $550 to $60, depending on where you buy it. If you're buying it from Sideshow, you most likely will you'll pay taxes, and you'll pay shipping, and it's close to a $600 purchase. Unless you can find somebody that can sell it, and waive the taxes or shipping, there may be collectors out there. But if you're buying it through Sideshow, or if you're so in love with Tamora Morrison in this role that you just needed to have this 2-pack right now and pay the outrageous pricing from Hong Kong resellers, that's not smart. That's year one collecting. That when I hear things like that's a year one collector to me. That's someone that hasn't been in the game very long, and they don't understand the rules of the game. There's rules. You want to pursue this. There are rules that you have to set to yourself, because continuously making not smart purchases like that because you feel that you need to have Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett right away is just plain outright silly. It just is. It just, no, because in this game,
in chess, the pawns go first.
Yeah. That's a year one collector. I got to get it first, and whatever it is, it's just, this is almost a $600. And then if you're buying it through a Hong Kong reseller, I'm assuming you're paying over $600. No, those figures are not worth it. Those figures are not worth it because I honestly feel that if the show ends on a bad note, it'll probably kill the merchant. It'll kill that particular line, and most likely affect the pricing on it, the market pricing. Nothing is immune. It's a very, this market of Hot Toys collecting, it's very sensitive. And if you've done your research and you've done your homework, you know that there are selected Hong Kong resellers out there that have already discounted Avengers Endgame characters. This is Avengers Endgame characters based on $2 billion film property. Just because a film is successful and so forth, and you make anything on it, it does not mean everything is going to sell. We've seen examples of Pepper Potts, the rescue armor, already being heavily discounted. The 2-pack Boba Fett is not immune. It doesn't make it any special, right? It's not an Iron Man suit, and even Iron Man, even selected suits have already have started to get discounted. So I always try to exercise a word of caution that there are really cool influencers out there, and everybody gets excited. We all tend to get excited. We all tend to get very worked up, and you just have to be really, really cautious when someone is telling you that that the figures are selling overseas and it's sold out already. It's a wait list, and then a few days later it's back in stock, and you're like, something's not adding up. Love tends to blind our judgment. And when you, I guess, love a show or something very significantly, it really tends to affect your opinion of what you think, regardless if it's a garbage of a show. But you love that character so much that you're willing to defend it. And there's really nothing wrong with that. We're all entitled to our opinions, right? We all are. But again, these aren't $20, $30 Black Series action figures. These are expensive toys. So listen up, kids, all right? And you want to stick around in this game. You want to hang out for several more years and not get tapped out by wrong decisions and wrong influencers and wrong mistakes. You have to do it right. You have to do it smart. Hot Toys in general is going through some wacky, unstable changes. I day one pre-ordered my Pennywise from Sideshow in 2019. It is the year 2022, January the 17th of 2022. I do not have Pennywise in my hands. I know it's been released in Hong Kong, but as of today's date, Pennywise is not in my lap, right? I don't know when I'm going to get it, right? I have no clue. I also day one pre-ordered the Iron Man Mark 85. It's been released in Hong Kong. I know I have to wait till it gets to Sideshow, but it's not in my hands. The point I'm trying to make here is that we are, as hot toy collectors here, we are going through, we're all going through different times here. It's what we knew, what we expected from history isn't necessarily going to can be used and applied here. So there's been very little evidence of any figures that have been recently released, probably even the last year, that have been very hard to acquire or sold out, other than some examples that were shown to us in late 2020, right, with the or 21, with the Heavy Mandalorian. And I mean, if you really want to use the Last Skywalker Rey as an example, which I think it's a poor example because nobody wanted her, and that's why she ended up on wait lists anyway. It was a limited batch, right? That's not how it works. And I don't think anything that's been released so far will reach Grail status this year. So let's understand what the word Grail means. Grail is typically, when I used it, and when most collectors I associate myself with would use the word Grail respectfully, not throwing it around. Well, I think this is going to be a Grail piece. Oh, this will hit Grail piece next week or next month. No. I wish Grails work like that. Grails are typically hard to acquire figures that typically are double the amount of the retail value. A good example of a Grail, right? A Grail, is Krennic, and you can see Krennic behind me. Krennic for a while was hitting close to $600 in the secondary market, but I didn't get him right away. I did not get Krennic from the Berlin, but I wanted him. But I knew how to kind of gauge the market. I knew that, during Christmas and some of these drops, collectors are going to be desperate. And I was able to acquire him at a very competitive price, below Grail status. And, probably double the amount. It was $400, I believe I paid for him. $400 plus tax, because eBay charges tax now. But I was able to wait, versus if I had wanted him in the summertime of last year, and when he was trending between $500 to $600. It's the market swing. Things go up and down based on demand. But I knew that Krennic and several other characters were going to be liquidated during the holidays when figures start to drop because it's Christmas, right? when things start to drop that we want, we tend to make irrational decisions and in most cases take a loss. That Krennic I bought, by the way, was sealed in the box. Shipper. Pretty cool. I don't sense any urgency with anything associated with the Book of Boba Fett. In fact, I think any of that merchandise, once it gets released, is probably going to sit for about a year. And it's not that hard to believe, but Denobi, so-and-so, says that the 2-pack is going to sell out and it's going to go waitlist. Bullshit. It's almost a $600 2-pack with most of the ants in the pants collectors who couldn't friggin' wait ended up dropping X amount of dollars more above its retail price in Hong Kong resellers. And it's going to drop. It'll drop. I told a promise to a good close friend of mine, and I'll say it on here. If the 2-pack Boba Fett gets discounted through any Hong Kong retailer by 20%, so it retails for $500 here. If it is sold by any Hong Kong retailer, GN Toys, KG Hobby, or Lion Rock Toys, any of those guys, if the 2-pack Boba Fett ends up into a saturated mode and those guys sell it at a considerable price, I will buy it, and I'll probably drive out to the Death Valley, go find a sand dune, and I'll grab my sand pail and bucket, and I'll reenact the Sarlacc pit, and I'll take the Boba Fett, and I'll push him down in the sand where he belongs. I'll recreate that. I'm like, no, you're not coming up through the sand pile. Death Valley has a couple of sand dunes out there, and I've been meaning to go out there hiking anyway. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll take my GoPro out there. But that's if he goes in discount. I think he's going to get discounted. There's 4 incarnations of Boba Fett based on this show. There's the regular, there's the 2-pack, then there's the Boba on the throne, and so forth. So we're all entitled to our opinions, and I may change my opinion, but right now, as of where the current state is, I think the show's going to hit a brick wall traveling at 120 miles per hour. And it's just going to disappoint a lot of fans. No show is immune to this. I mean, I suffered the same fate through Game of Thrones. Those last couple episodes were just atrocious. What do we have here? Let's get some comments here. Yes, that is the ongoing consensus. The show's cheap budget and the cheap special effects that tend to throw the audience out. We're already, it's not that hard for most of us to suspend our disbelief, but if the special effects are not holding up, it can definitely pull us out. You're like, oh, what's that? They clearly didn't have the volume at ILM that way. Clearly, Kenobi was using it because that backdrop looks rough. I've heard that. I've heard that consensus on there. Marvel makes their shows as cinematic in every level. Why is Star Wars looking like CW? So, Tutankhamun. I felt that the Loki show had a very similar budget to the Book of Boba Fett. There was a few episodes on there that questioned the whole special, especially when they would time travel back in time. It's expensive. You're going through your time traveling. When Loki would go travel back in time, it's expensive, and building the sets and recreating all that. But what I was able to overlook a lot of those missteps because of the story. It was engaging. And every episode of Loki ended with a cliche hook. Some of the hooks were pretty kind of lazy, but nonetheless, it was a hook. I was like, all right, I'd like to see what happens next. And make no mistake either, Loki had a couple continuity errors that I had issues with. Like Loki can hold his own weight against his brother Thor in the films, but yet in the Loki TV show, he's getting thrown off of a train by a security guard. You know, there was things like that. You're like, oh, Loki in the show is a punk? What's going on here? Like, what? This is the badass trickster from the films that gouged people's eyeballs out, and what are they doing to my boy Loki? Are they cucking Loki? What's going on here? But Loki, the show, served a purpose, segueing into the multiverse. And it was a good story, you know. There was a couple missteps with some of the story, but nonetheless, it was an engaging series that had me looking forward every week and tuning in. So that's why Loki, before it was, once the show had aired, is getting a season 2, because the viewer numbers show it. Which then I'm going to use that into a segue into why I have not seen the episodes 2 and 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. So we're living in the middle of the streaming wars, right? And the viewership numbers and the analytics are kept very hush-hush, and they're kept very private. But I know for a fact that Disney is watching their viewership numbers on this show like a hawk. So when they see somebody like from my subscription that I'm paying for watch the Book of Boba Fett at the midnight run when it aired, when it dropped, and then not return for episodes 2 and 3, like, oh, this cat here in Las Vegas watched the first episode, but he didn't stick around. That's kind of my way of personally voting against the show. So there is a little bit of logic. If people tell me, oh, just give the show a chance. Like, no, it's a garbage show. I can tell by the first episode. It is a garbage show. It's not for me. Now, it may sound like I'm being a little bit hard, a little bit harsh, but I dismissed the Hawkeye show. I am a Marvel fanboy like you would not believe. I didn't even wait. I didn't even blink an eye for the Hawkeye show. Didn't see the pilot. To me, it looked awful. The costumes, the trailer. Nope. Hawkeye was already a questionable character for me that I never really enjoyed, so it wasn't that hard for me to dismiss it. Same thing for the film Eternals. It's on Disney Plus. A couple of people told me, hey, are you going to watch Eternals now on Disney Plus? No. It's not for me. I don't care for that. I don't care if it's free. It's not for me. I don't care anything about the Eternals. I've seen some of the reviews, and they said it's a mess. I'm allergic to bad writing. I'm allergic to lazy and bad writing. I get irked. I really do. That being said, with the Eternals, though, the figure that was announced through Hot Toys, off of Angelina Jolie, I'll be getting her. I will 100% be buying her. And you're probably going to ask, well, why are you getting her if you don't care for the film? Because I do not have an Angelina Jolie licensed 1/6 scale figure in my collection. I'm not that hard to get hooked on. I want an Angelina Jolie licensed figure of her. Costume looks good. The head sculpt looks pretty good. And some of the accessories, cool. Beautiful dress and head sculpt, cool. She can come. She can enter into my collection. I don't really want to sit through the film. That also applies to Black Widow. I have not seen the Black Widow film. I don't care to see the Black Widow film. But I will be picking up a couple of the Black Widow characters. Be picking her up in black and white because it's Scarlett Johansson. It's her last hurrah before Disney screwed her. So I'll be picking up the Black Widow figures. As far as the Book of Boba Fett, there's only one character that I want, and it's Boba Fett on the throne. And it's really, honestly, not so much for the suit or Boba Fett. It's honestly for the throne. And it's not the first time that I've made a purchase specifically for an accessory. It's really Jabba's throne. I love Jabba. You can see Jabba right behind me. I love Return of the Jedi. I am a child of Return of the Jedi. It's the only Star Wars movie that I can remember seeing in theaters, even though my mom said she took me to Empire Strikes Back, but not the original Star Wars. I remember seeing Return of the Jedi. I remember having the little Kinder action figure. So Return of the Jedi has a special place in my heart. So to have a prop that is part of the lore of Jabba, yeah, I'll be buying it specifically for Jabba, for that throne chair, because it's part of Jabba's palace. If it did not come with that chair, I probably would not be picking him up. Another figure that I purchased specifically for the accessory, and I disclosed this, is the Rey behind. You can see the Rey. I bought it for the Dio droid. I love Star Wars droids, and I bought it specifically for the Dio droid. But again, I'm not your regular collector though. It's usually something specific within the character, figure, or accessory that can typically hook me in. All right, let's jump in. Let's get some comments on here. I think to show. Did I do this one? Yes, the second was good. I'm selling the show. It's wonderful. Hey, you know what, Yoda? Good for you. I'm glad that you're sold on the show. I'm glad it's wonderful. You and the other 32 people that are watching it. I'm joking. I'm trying. Riley Ramirez, I'm trying. This is amazing. I genuinely believe the series is amazing. Yes, episode 3 isn't the best, but episode 2 is amazing in my opinion. We all keep going back to episode 2, don't we? Is episode 2 going to be the anchor that keeps the ship from floating away? It's looking like that, isn't it? Being a casual Star Wars fan has saved me lots of money. Oh, good for you, Victor. Good for you. Mando had the spider episode. I would hold my judgment. I enjoyed the spider episode. I enjoyed the episode with the little frog lady and the eggs and Grogu stuffing his face with eggs. I thought that was such a fun episode. I remember reading people being thrown off with that episode. I thought it was one of the coolest episodes. The whole collectible market will crash. Continuous high prices across the boards are unsustainable. Yes, I do suspect that as well too. I really, really do. The way things are trending, it does have me pause for concern. Let's go to Sideshow here. Actually, you know what? Storm Tracker 3000. Boom! Storm Tracker. All right, you guys know how the Storm Tracker works, right? Very simple. This Storm Tracker tracks and calibrates Star Wars figures that have not shipped or have arrived in the hands of Star Wars collectors here in the USA. Doesn't matter if a figure's been released in Hong Kong. Is it in the hands of a United States of America Hot Toys collector? That's what this chart is designed for. The Mandalorian Deluxe Child is on the chart because I was able to confirm that collector has not shipped or arrived from Sideshow. I don't care if U.S. collectors decided to, spend, $1,000 through Toys Carneyland or what, if they decided to buy that. It's just, no. The chart is based off of Sideshow. The whole collectible market will crash. He's continuing high prices across the board. And what he means by that, and what I tend to agree with that, is that a crash can be seen as a figure that retails for $400 and now is being sold through a Hong Kong retailer for $350 with free ship and no tax. That's considered a crash. That's bad. That's bad because what happens is that then collectors who paid full price plus tax and shipping, then it weakens their confidence in day one pre-ordering or even eventually purchasing from. They're like, well, hell, the figure's been discounted at the bargain. Why the hell did I pre-order this, and why the hell did I paid all this when I could have just waited? I'm telling you, in this game, right?
chess, the pawns go first.
That's how it works. I'm telling you. Patience. You have to stay on the track. You have to use charts. I'm telling you right now. You got to use a chart. You want the goodness. You want that epicness.
You want the ultimate. You got to be willing to pay the ultimate price.
I love these memes. I joke. All right, going down. There are some of us in the middle too. There are plenty of aspects in this show that are very bad, but some make me remember why I love Star Wars. Basically, it's a mixed bag. It's fair enough, Mike. Super chat from Ryan Poon. I pre-ordered the 2-pack and thinking of getting that refund and pre-ordering the Dark Knight statue instead. That's Canada, so Canadian. This is exactly why I was looking forward to doing this midnight run, because as a veteran collector, right, and how I curate my collection, right. I listen to everything. I do my research. I want the best deal. I'm all about clipping coupons. I am all about woo me with a $20 off. Woo me with some free shipping. You want me to drop $400 here. I really want this figure. All right, show me what you got, right? Show me what you got. I love toy. Till the end of time, I'll be collecting and buying toys, but I want the best deal, right? It's not about getting it first, right? It's about, in my book, getting the best deal and holding on to it, right? Buying something that you like. And I understand some of us here will probably buy, and if it doubles in price, you may want to resell it to fund more figures. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what I did as a year one collector back in 2013 and 14. I did that. I mean, back then it was like the Wild West back in the day when I used to do that. I don't do that anymore, though. I have outside investments that I do. I very seldom will ever sell a Hot Toys now. I do love backing Kickstarters and HasLabs and reselling it and using the funds to buy more Hot Toys. But for the most part, my Hot Toys collection is pretty much protected. It's maybe every now and then I may sell one just to make space, but it's not in the cards anymore. I can buy other things outside of Hot Toys that I know it's going to make a killing, and I can just resell it. So I pre-ordered the 2-pack and thinking of getting that refund. Ryan Poon, I am curious, where did you pre-order it from? I want to follow up with you on that. The greatest mystery is why Hot Toys hasn't made the Jedi Fallen Order figures. Well, it's no big mystery. The game did okay. Did okay in sales. Right? I played the game. My kid played the game. It's a fun game. Bought it for the Xbox One. Fun game. Wasn't a good story. I finished it. He finished it. It did. Sales were I think mediocre. It didn't crash. It wasn't a bomb, but it just did okay. Yoda. Episode 3 isn't perfect, but has some of the great moments, especially with the Rancor. The Rancor is not what people are talking about on social media, Yoda. It's the Power Rangers that is showing up in memes all over the Star Wars forums. That's what people are talking about. I'm going to give it till episode 4. If we don't see go down, then I'm out. Episode 4 has to be amazing. Well, Riley Ramirez, if you think more flashbacks with the Tusken Raiders and Boba Fett learning how to weave a basket with the Tusken wife, maybe. I'm not sure. I love how it took inspiration from American Graffiti. I'm assuming you're referring to the Power Rangers on the mopeds, right? I'm assuming that's what you meant, because that's all I've seen is memes on that. With the bikes. Yep, that's what it was. I'm mostly in it for the lore. Evangelium, I'm mostly in it for good stories. Denobi, seriously, you need to watch the rest of Boba. It's awesome. You know, you kids out there told me the Bad Batch was also good too. I didn't make it past the pilot episode on that either. Just stop watching then, really. Maybe Salma Hayek's. You know what? You know what? Victor, you get 10 points. Because if you listened earlier in the stream, Robert Rodriguez has a troupe of actors that are dedicated and loyal. And Salma Hayek will do anything for Robert Rodriguez. And she's been in dozens of his films. So yes, it's either going to be Antonio Banderas or Salma Hayek. They'll do it for like cameo fee, meaning whatever the SAG fee is for cameo, just to walk on the set. They'll do it. Yeah, you have to understand with Robert Rodriguez, it's not about the pay. It's he's your boy, and if your boy asks you to, hey, are you in where's he filming in Georgia, right, or whatever it was? And, hey, can you swing by for a cameo? And they'll do it. Yeah, that's loyalty. That's, you know, he has that, and there are several directors in Hollywood that have that. I'll use Tim Burton. Tim Burton has that too. In my opinion, the show is 50% done. At best, the show sucks. I don't consider it to be premature to place that judgment. I can't disagree with you. I mean, I checked out by the pilot episode, and I saw that episode, and I said, ew. Episode 3 was certainly iffy, but I'm certainly not jumping on the hate bandwagon till I've seen the whole season first, and I'll personally be in a position to judge. Fair. Absolutely fair. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You are, you know, I hope I'm not dishing out shovels of hate here. I would like to think that I'm dishing shovels of concern, because ultimately it's my wallet that gets beat up, right? I will not hate on the series and critique it until it ends. Timeless, well then, my thoughts and prayers to you. If I was on Facebook, I would post that on there for you if you feel that it's going to get better by episode 7. I think Bob has it up and down so far. Man, 2 awesome, and 3 was good, not great. What do we have here? I heard... Yes, I listened to Will. I actually spoke to him earlier. I heard this on Will's stream earlier that he said some might keep the 2 back because that was a great scene from Mandalorian. Hey, you know what? That is a great, fair point. That is a great devil's advocate point right there. No fear, you get 10 points for that, because you're right, the 2-pack of Boba Fett theoretically is not associated with the train wreck of the book of Boba Fett. It is actually still symbiotically connected to the season 2 of Mandalorian. So, if you enjoy The Mandalorian, well, I do. I love that show. I think that show's fun. It makes you want to sit down and play with toys and ships, and love The Mandalorian. Give me more Mandalorian. If you feel that, hey, you know what, I'm getting it because how badass he was at the those last couple episodes, then you know what, that's perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. Yeah. If you alienate yourself from anything, any of the merch associated with the book of Boba Fett because of your disdain for the show, that makes perfect sense too. I don't see anything wrong with that. I've seen Dances with Wolves in Cameron's Avatar, so episode 2 didn't do anything for me. Just another white savior story. Selma was based in Eternals. Oh, that's right. Selma Hayek was in Eternals. Victor, I like your thinking. Selma was wasted in Eternals. I need classic Hayek with twin blasters. They nerfed Boba and then some. Mm-hmm. They nerfed him. Yes, can't disagree with you on that. Set member said the last 3 episodes are what we should be waiting for. Great. We finally get to see the great and almighty Boba Fett, right? That's because that's the ongoing excuse, right? Oh, you got to give him time. You got to give Boba Fett time. What do you mean give him time, man? He was hired by Lord Vader, for crying out loud. It's going to get better. Thor's going to get better. He was hired by Lord frickin' Vader to do a job, and he did his job and then some. Rest in peace, Jeremy Bullock. God, man, we just need him back. Third Funky Cold Santa. Third episode was a letdown. It's only 3 episodes, guys. Come on, slow down. Yoda, I'm picking on you. Don't troll me, Yoda. I'm just messing with you. It's good. I like this. I like that there are fans who love the show, and then there are fans who are like, "What did I just watch?" So yes, Yoda. I'm just messing with you. Boba Fett lost his swag when a blind Han kicked his ass. I've been saying that. No one listens to me. I talk and no one listens. I said he was a moron when he tried to subdue a Jedi with a tie-me-down rope, right? What was that? What did he pulled out? He shot out like wrap-out twine, right? It's the type of twine that you would secure a mattress over a car. That's what came out of his gauntlet, right? He shot out a twine out of his gauntlet at a Jedi. And he was surprised when Luke swiped it out or cut him, right? What was he even doing on the barge anyway? Why was Boba Fett on the barge? He got paid by Jabba, didn't he? He was an open-ended contractor, right? Theoretically, he should have delivered the carbonite Han Solo, collected his payment, and he should have been on his merry way. Why he was still trolling Jabba's palace? You know what? Nah, never mind. He was trolling Jabba's palace for ass, is what it was. So that's okay. That would explain why he was probably on the barge. He was probably going to show up for like the after party, so that when Han Solo and Luke fell into the Sarlacc pit, he was going to go to the after party. That's what it was. Who do we got here? Look at here. Hello, James. I've been ranting, man. How you going, mate? Hello. Have you caught anything? Have you heard me going off the chains here? Let me put this up here.
I was on the train home. I was listening. Heard what you were saying. Is there a bit of an echo?
Do you hear the echo? Okay, hold on. There may be an echo. Hold on. I'm going to take this off. Can you still hear the echo? You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You still hear it?
Yeah. Hear myself talk.
You do? All right. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to remove myself. You go ahead and talk for a second. I know how to solve this.
All good. No worries. Hopefully there's no more echo after this. I hope he hasn't been ranting too much for everyone. And what has everyone thought of the Book of Boba Fett so far? I know I'm definitely keen for episode 4, but
All right, do you still hear the echo?
No, echo's gone.
There you go, huh? Look at that.
Beautiful.
There you go. I can solve this. There you go.
Yeah, mate. I listened to your ranting a bit on the train home. I had a phone call first with a friend that called me, but after that I was listening, and yeah, I got home, had to put a bit of food in my throat down my throat after a long day, but um, yeah, I heard you were going on about the pre-orders, and you're talking about Grails, and definitely got some thoughts on that. And the last that I heard was you were talking about the budget for Book of Boba,
Yeah.
and I was actually I was gonna say they've the first, especially the first two episodes when they were in Mos Espa, I was like, we're seeing the same sets quite a few times. It was feeling,
Oh.
I don't know, it was feeling a bit small. It wasn't feeling as grand. Like, I don't know, like with Mando, I felt, like obviously it's a TV show, and but it didn't feel like you were restricted to like just a number of locations. And were you saying something about they didn't have access to the volume as much?
I was joking because
Okay, I wasn't sure because
yeah. Well, I was speculating because people were complaining about the special effects. I was sharing with the audience that even though I've tuned out of which you couldn't believe when I told you that. I'm like, no, I'm done. I don't.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the only reason, like, if I like in Sydney here, it comes out I think like 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, and before they changed the date that it was coming out, when it was coming out Friday, I'll be honest now, like when Mando was on, I was religiously home 7 p.m. Friday night to watch it. Like if friends wanted to make plans, I'm sorry, I'd be meeting up with you at 8 or 8:15. But now it's a Wednesday. Like I definitely have the time to see it. But honestly, and I love Boba Fett. Like you know how excited I was for this show. But the way it's going at the moment, I wouldn't. If it was back on still on a Friday, I wouldn't be putting my life on hold to stay home and watch Book of Boba.
See, and I'm a little bit shocked hearing this from you because I asked you to if you had time to join the midnight run tonight because I didn't want to be all the doom and gloom. I wanted a fanboy who was in love with the show. And I'm like, I'll ask James. He thinks Boba Fett can do no wrong. So when you told me that you had some issues and concerns, like, oh, okay. So I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Like to be honest, I follow like movie news quite a fair bit, and I remember there was a quote that I heard from Robert Rodriguez in the lead up to the show. Like I know, when movies are coming out, directors and whatever, like blow smoke up, up their project's ass and whatever, and talk it up. They've got to. But he said this show's going to be all killer, no filler. And after seeing what we saw of Boba Fett in Mandalorian season 2, especially that episode where he kicked absolute ass, I was like, okay, well, if he's saying like no killer, all killer, no filler, like, I thought it was going to be a lot more action, and we're 3 episodes in, and the train heist was pretty cool, but mate, nothing's topped that episode of Mando when he kicked ass for me. Like that's still the best of Boba Fett that I've seen. And like it feels like there's been a lot of filler. To be honest.
I said it. It was one of the things. It was one of the things that I was able to kind of predict and speculate. And I remember saying this on the Geeking Out show. I go. They're going to waste our time with flashbacks. I said that. Why haven't you seen it? Because they're going to waste our time. They feel the audience needs to know what he did.
I don't mind getting the flashbacks, but don't lead me on and tell me we're going to get all killer no filler, and then we get a fuck ton of killer. Sorry, a fuck ton of filler. Like don't lead the audiences on. And like I know not everyone would have heard that quote, but for me personally, that sort of put my expectations higher than what it should have been, and also everyone's had in their head, no one has never really known much about Boba Fett unless you've read, the expanding universe, but we've never seen a lot of his backstory. And I think a lot of that mystery was what played into, how lovable the character was. Like, everyone just had an idea in their head of what Boba Fett is. And, in that episode of Mandalorian, it sort of realized what a lot of people thought. He was that absolute badass that everyone thought. But now we're 3 episodes in, and he's done a bit of ass kicking, but he's been sort of like, letting people, push him around a little bit. And, I just feel it's taking the shine off him a bit. Like, I feel sometimes knowing less is more. And,
Yes. And
once you start knowing too much, it takes away the specialness of.
Well, I went in with very low expectations, James. I honestly really did. I was not expecting a lot. In fact, my expectations were always going to be extra higher for the Kenobi show. I'm like, Kenobi's going to be better than this, and because when you take a throwaway character and you're stretching and pulling to make a story, to make a series, you're going to end up with fatty fillers. And I suspected that, right? At least with Kenobi, he has somewhat purpose and timeline of protecting the twins and people. I mean, it's very simple. I in my head, I would imagine with only six episodes for the Kenobi show, that it should be very smooth. It should be a smooth path. But with the Book of Boba Fett, I went in with very, very low expectations, and I'm like, what? How are they going to stretch this? I mean, this guy fell into a Sarlacc pit, being bumped in the ass by Han Solo, and now we're going to give him a whole show? I don't. Okay, and I was somewhat convinced, like most skeptics, his appearance on the Mandalorian show, and he comes in and he shoots Bib Fortuna down.
Well, that was badass.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was like, all right, I'll go in. And then we get to the pilot episode, and they feel that, well, now we need to explain how he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit. And I'm like, oh god! And I said that too. I was like, they're going to waste. I enjoyed seeing. I would have enjoyed seeing a montage, not 15 minutes of my time, having him crawl out of a Sarlacc pit with a stormtrooper. Continuity error. It just bugs the hell out of me. I just don't. Like, why couldn't you have thrown one of Jabba's guards in there and have him shown that? Why would it be a stormtrooper? Probably because of the budget. Probably because, hey, there's a stormtrooper outfit hanging in the broom closet. Joe, can you put it on and go? We'll meet you on the set. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, Jon Favreau talks about some of the budgetary shortcuts.
But that's how the first Star Wars was made.
Yeah, but there's ways of doing that. There's clever ways of doing that. And then when he's being dragged behind the bantha, I was like, oh my god, this is going to put me to sleep. I go, what is this? What's this? What the whole beast situation and fighting the Harryhausen monster, and I was like, oh god, here we go.
Look, the only thing that I will give, and a lot of people have pointed this out, and it is true. We're only 3 episodes in. The last 4 episodes. I think it is acceptable to have judgment and opinion as the series goes on. That's fair enough. And
that's fair enough. Absolutely.
But that's part of part of how life works. But and we can only have a full judgment once the show's finished. But as it stands, we only have 3 episodes, so that's all that we can go off. And to be honest, 3 episodes in of Mando, both season 1 and season 2, were, I think I speak for myself, but just from hearing the general fan consensus out in the community, the first 3 episodes of both season 1 and season 2 of Mando were overall far better received than the first 3 episodes of Book of Boba. I know the second episode of Mando season 2, when they went to the what's it called? That snow planet was a bit,
Yeah.
Not as favorable, but that was one episode. There's been.
I love that episode where the ship is frozen and he's doing handiwork.
That was my least favorite episode.
But don't you know the history behind that? Though it was based off of like concept art.
I do the concept
and
art.
I just thought it was on. Was it the Payson? Was it the Frog Lady running around? Was it?
It was sort of just like for me and a few other people I spoke to was like it turned into like a side quest, and we just wanted to get on with the main story.
But the whole Mandalorian is all side quest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like, everyone's different, but overall, like my point is, the first 3 episodes of both seasons were overall. The consensus was far more positive than it is overall for the first 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett. It's far more divided on this one. So,
did you pre-order the 2-pack?
I haven't pre-ordered it. I'm sitting and waiting. I was actually who was I saying it to? I was saying to someone after he was on the Bantha, I said I would not be surprised if we get a sort of a Mando and Blurg situation, and we get a Boba Fett on what's it called? Boba Fett in his Tusken outfit on a Bantha like reissue, and it's sort of like makes the 2-pack sort of irrelevant. That's what I was thinking, because then you could really just get the single pack of Boba Fett, and if they gave you Boba Fett in his Tusken outfit on a Bantha, well, like, that renders the 2-pack irrelevant, basically.
I would love to have a 1/6 scale Bantha. I really would.
But it's true, Denobi. If they released Boba Fett in his Tusken Raider outfit, with the head sculpt, obviously, like on a Bantha, would you then just not get that and just get the single pack of the Mando Boba? Because the only thing you're then missing out on is the Smash Stormtrooper helmet, which, if you really want, you can pick up on eBay, or like, you can get a third-party one or something like that. Like, realistically, that's then the only thing you'd be missing out on. And Hot Toys is now sort of had they've got a bit of a track record of, basically cancelling out some of their previous releases by doing this sort of shit.
Well, and it's sending the back. I don't know what Hot Toys is doing. They're like a Klingon bird of prey spinning out of control. We have let's look at this here really quick, because I have to remind folks. They hate when I do this, but I know 36 total unreleased in the U.S. market as of the 14th when I did this audit. We still have the Stormtrooper Commander that has not. It's not in the hands of collectors in the U.S. This was meant for October, December last year. It was released in Hong Kong. It'll eventually make its way to the shores. Who knows? Mandalorian and the Child. I got confirmation that Sideshow started charging, but tracking and shipping will probably start tomorrow. So, but it's still not in the hands of collectors. So that's why it's still on the chart. Then we have my predictions here, which are going to come in out of nowhere. And I thought maybe tonight, because it's Monday right now, it's Monday afternoon in Hong Kong, that I thought during the middle of this midnight run that we would get a drop. But I didn't get any alerts from anybody, right? There has not been...
They usually drop on like Tuesday, Wednesday, my time. So
do they? Okay. I haven't got any alerts, so I'm assuming that nothing's been dropped from... Because it's Monday there now. But you are aware of the Chinese New Year. Do you know how that works?
Yeah.
They
closed down.
They closed down for about 2 weeks, and that's something that Hot Toys follows religiously. And the Chinese New Year starts on February the 1st. So we have about 2 weeks where the company is still operational and running. So we're probably going to get some more announcements. We'll probably get the delayed Ahsoka. We'll most likely
we'll get some stuff from No Way Home as well.
Some announcements and some pre-order drops.
I honestly think what they could do, both for Book of Boba Fett and for No Way Home, is I reckon they've got an idea of they'll release some things before Chinese New Year, and then they'll sort of see how they're progressing 2 weeks after, and they'll make a call on some other figures on whether to announce them or not.
That's right.
The Chinese the 2 year break could be very good for Hot Toys. You know, they could see how numbers are going. They could see the final, you know, how well Book of Boba Fett has gone. You know, because I think it would have almost wrapped, or, you know, been wrapped for a few weeks by that point. Or sorry, it would have been just finished, so they can see how high the hype levels are.
Yeah.
For the show by the end of it, and they can make a call on how much they put out.
Yeah, I think the last episode is the 13th, or it's right in the middle of February. So so when the show ends, it's probably when they're going to come back to their office and then probably move forward as to because we haven't got any announcements on the show for Hot Toys other than Fennec, but she was teased prior to the show's start. So. Yeah,
can I also say the release of the 2-pack was primed, and Hot Toys usually has woeful timing, but aligning it with the release of episode 2 when he had that whole. Have you seen episode 2?
Of what?
Book of Boba, or you haven't seen it?
No.
So there's a big thing with the Tusken Raiders and all his gaffy stick, and I remember I sent you a photo about it, and I'll say. This is one of the fair few times that Hot Toys perfectly times a release. Because I saw that episode, and then I saw the blogger photos, and I was like, I really need this Boba Fett with the Tusken and his gaffy stick, because in my opinion, it made the gaffy stick bloody awesome.
I just want a Tusken. I would be happy with just a Tusken Raider on a Bantha. I mean, it fits in the prequels and the classic trilogy. Yeah. It's not like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, thank you for the super chat. Even small-scale Hong Kong resellers are stuck with stock given recent shutdowns of EMS Hong Kong Post. My Battle Damage 85 seller told me he had to upgrade to... Yes, trouble. Trouble in the Orient with shipping and all the delays. We're still not out of this 2-year...
No.
delay nonsense. It's affecting everything. It's affecting morale. It's affecting buyers' confidence. It's affecting buyers' decisions into what to actually buy. It has for me. I can't day one pre-order any of this nonsense anymore.
Yeah. Did I tell you I've got two technically 3 figures in, but they're in 2 boxes. I haven't even opened them yet. They're sitting right here. Did I tell you I got the Bat, John Blake and Jim Gordon, the Bat Signal?
Oh.
Yeah, I've had it sitting here for a week and a half. I haven't opened it, and my Lando showed up last week.
Oh, very nice.
That either.
Very nice. Yeah, Lando, a legacy character, for crying out loud, that you can still pick up in some places below retail. It's mind blowing. Simply.
I know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I just haven't had the time, and I've told you, I'm not as excited as I was before, and I think that also plays into your whole thing about grails and what you're talking about. There's not as many. It doesn't feel as special anymore with the volume that they're putting out.
There's the volume that they're putting out, and then you're getting stuff that's just taking forever to arrive. That when you finally do get it, the excitement's just not really there. So when you have something that is just kind of sealed, you're like, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's just not. Is that right? So I'm actually probably one of the collectors that completely understands. And like, I got Lando, and I'll get to him when I get to him. Like, yeah, I get you. I actually understand, because when these things arrive so late, and I mean, for crying out loud, Pennywise, you think they would have released him during October, during Halloween?
I know.
I don't understand that at all. I don't get that crap. I don't.
Yeah. Well, the last, when I got these bad boys, I would consider the Cantina band. It's not a top tier grail, but it is in some senses a grail, like in how rare it is and the price of them generally. But they're not widely sought after by everyone, like a DX11 Joker or a DX07 Luke. But I was so excited to get these, and I was excited to get Marty McFly when I got my second, my updated Marty. But these guys, like before, I would make time to open these figures, and I'm just like, they can sit
Yeah.
here until I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah,
Like-
and you're absolutely right. It was one of the situations too that with one of my Star Trek figures too. That I'm like, yeah, they were just when you throttle arrivals of figures and they come in 2 or 3, and like, oh, like I pre-ordered that back in 2019. I'll get to it when I get to it. Whatever. I have to cure, you know. So I'm telling you. So when I understand. I feel it, you know, because we went through a whole year, and it's crazy how when you listen to us here in YouTube land and how our attitudes change and how our mentality changes and how we thought it was cute and funny in early 2021 when we were just collecting pre-orders. And I'm like, yeah, dudes, that's not a good sign. It's bad. I got a couple messages from a couple of people that follow me on Instagram. They're like, yeah, I survived the storm. And I'm like, what? We got wet in December, but that was not the storm. This is... Yeah.
December was like you're standing on the sidewalk
on
a rainy day and a car drives by and splashes you.
Yeah, it was not. That was not the storm. The storm got throttled back. I mean, there's still a ton of stuff, and the more Star Wars, you know, that get released, and collectors aren't stepping up to the bat to the plate to bat, becomes dead stock, and it's happening to the best of the Marvel line. Star Wars isn't any better. It's happening. It's happening to Iron Man figures, for crying out loud. What makes the Star Wars line so much better? It isn't, right? It isn't. Iron Man is still king shit when it comes to this company and it comes to this community. What anybody says, it's going to be Iron Man, regardless if we don't care about a neon tech suit. It does not matter what we think here in the U.S. Iron Man will always trump. Nate, what you doing? Sneaking out on your lunch break. Let the Brain Prophet speak. True story. I was able to get my expensive grails during the holiday for Faction. Yeah, look at that. I believe him. I did too. Nate, I scored a deal with my credit, and I was able to go back and buy Qui-Gon at retail. I was dragging my feet on Qui-Gon. I did. He's okay. It's fine. He's in the. I mean, he's over there. I got him holding him. Here you go. But I had to.
Edition piece. He's like.
Yeah, you can kind of see him right over there, but I had to because I knew that I would end up regretting it, and I didn't. Like, I gotta get it.
And you know, at some point they're gonna do an episode 1 Obi-Wan, and then you're gonna be like, well, damn, I don't have Qui-Gon. Yeah. So, but I knew, like Nate did during the holidays, like collectors start to clutch their wallets during the holidays, especially if things start to drop. So it affects current lines, and most collectors, when they need an infusion of funds, you tend to go into your collection and start to liquidate something that you don't particularly care for. Well, did I told you, Janobi, I remember, I'm pretty sure I consulted you about some endgame pieces that I was considering picking up at one point. RIP game.
Yeah, it may still drop.
I told you.
Yeah.
I remember I told you I could have got 3 endgame figures. I'm pretty sure it was, normal War Machine, Hawkeye or Ronin and Black Widow, all for like 900 Australian, which is like, I don't know, if you did the conversion to like US, it's like probably like 700, 750. That's ridiculously cheap for 3 figures.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. Do you think, so I was trying a question that I had asked early in the stream, I'll present to you. Do you think when the show ends, based on how the show ends, it's going to affect the specific Boba Fett line as far as marketability, its value, its purchasing, the way people see it?
I do. I had to stop there and think about it.
That's a big one, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's really hard to say because, like we know, the fandom is segmented. So there's certain parts of the fandom will just love him irrespective, but I think certain other parts of the fandom, it will, depending on how it plays out, will affect how they feel about Boba Fett. So if this show ends, like as well as Mando season 2 ended, Boba Fett's going to go to the next level. If it ends on a whimper, it's going to be some mixed feelings, honestly.
It's gonna split the community, isn't it?
and do you know what, Denobi? It's going to anger people because this should have been a home run. It really should have been. It should be a home run. I'm not saying it's not going to be, but the love for this character, like if they've got Mandalorian right, they should have been able to get this guy right. And part of me actually honestly feels the reason why they've taken this route with Boba Fett, with making him no longer be a bounty hunter, is because then it would basically be a repeat of Mandalorian. That's what Mando is. He's a badass bounty hunter. But they've given that to Mando now, so they need to do something else with Boba Fett, so it doesn't seem like same but different.
I don't know. They should have probably just copied and pasted.
I love Mandalorian, but do you not think if they did the same thing, everyone would be like, "This is basically Mandalorian, but with Tamara Morrison"?
I just wanted to
differentiate it a bit.
Well, it's not that hard.
And I hate to say that, but all they had to I don't know. Like, I loved that episode of Boba when he kicked ass. Like, that was phenomenal. And can you believe we're 3 episodes in and we haven't seen Slave 1 in action other than in a flashback?
Well, it's in the shop getting an oil change, right? Isn't it getting serviced by pit droids? It's in the repair shop or something. It's in the shop, right? Isn't it?
But wouldn't you think that we'd see it in action almost halfway through?
I'm assuming probably episode 7, right? They're sandbagging everything for episode 7, assuming that the audience will still be there for episode 7, right?
I heard episodes 5 to 7 are going to be awesome. That's what I heard. But who knows? It's all speculation at this point.
It's sure.
We've just got to hope and pray, man. Like I honestly think if this show goes south, this could, Mandalorian did a lot to bring the Star Wars community together. This could segment it again. Let's
springboard off of this comment here. Are expectations of Boba Fett too high? Me personally, I kept my expectations extremely low. I'm not the one going on streams telling everybody that Han Solo is going to show up to save the show, or Chewbacca may show up. I haven't. For me, when as and I get it, as fans we like to speculate and dream and so forth, but I feel it does the show an injustice by disservice by setting those type of expectations as it was set up for me when everybody swore that Mephisto was going to show up at the end of WandaVision. And people were just setting up all these ridiculous expectations. And Doctor Strange was going to show up. This would show up. And I hear the same...
Well, Doctor Strange was meant to show up.
But he didn't. And that's fine. But he didn't. But the point is that the expectation was set there. I'm like, well, people are telling me that Doctor Strange is going to show up there. Well, he was supposed to. Well, supposed to is not him not showing up. Yeah. So, and we seem to be doing that with this show. That, Han Solo was, Harrison Ford was seen on the set. He probably got lost or his plane crashed in the backyard or something. I mean, he's a horrible pilot.
Can I ask you a question, Kenobi?
What's that?
It's to do. Yeah, it's Marvel related, but it's got to do with Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. What was your better viewing experience or cinema experience? No Way Home or Endgame?
Oh, No Way Home.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, it was... See, for me, Endgame was a better experience purely because I didn't know anything going in.
Yeah.
And there was nothing was leaked. If what had happened in No Way Home, if everything that happened in No Way Home wasn't leaked, No Way Home would have been a far better experience. And I love Endgame.
Oh, are you talking about leaks? Because
So what my point is, what made the end of Mando season 2 so good is there was no leaks.
Okay.
But going back to your thing of expectations, when stuff gets out or rumors get out and there's suspicions or whatever or potential leaks, that ruins, not for everyone, but a lot of time it impacts and can potentially ruin the viewing experience.
Okay.
And so with this stuff with Han Solo potentially coming out, that could, like, if he does show up, it's not going to be as special because the leaks are out there. What made Mando so special is no one.
Wait a minute, James. I'm going to stop you there. Are you making excuses for? I didn't think anything from the book of Boba Fett's been leaked. Well, is that what you're saying?
Well, if Han Solo does show up, then there is the expectation.
Oh my God, James, you really think Harrison Ford, asshole Harrison Ford, who hates Star Wars?
He showed up in that dumpster fire of Rise of Skywalker.
He was paid. He was paid a lot of money for that. They're not. Are you kidding? On this shoestring budget, they can barely afford the volume. They can barely afford to rent the volume because apparently Kenobi was using it that week, so they couldn't get the volume for the Book of Boba. They figured, just walk up and down the streets. Shouldn't I take the slave one into town? No, Boba. Well, you think George was on the set? No, Boba Fett can walk down the street.
Well, they could have got Alden Ehrenreich. He wouldn't get to do it.
What is that? And what's the complaint? What's the complaint? And then I read the complaints that people say he doesn't keep his armor on, and he keeps getting his ass kicked. What's all that about? I don't understand.
Okay, so yeah, he had episode 3. He did get his ass kicked, and there was this. He did get his ass kicked, and there was just some things that people like. So he gets his ass kicked, and then he comes out, without his armor on, and and people are like, I saw online people like, why as soon as he had the chance wouldn't he suit up? Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to spoil it for you since you haven't seen it.
Oh, I don't intend on what you can spoil it for me.
Then there was later in the episode. There's a chase scene, and Boba Fett sends his minions to, basically go catch the person who they're chasing. And I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, why did Boba Fett just use his jetpack to catch him and land in the speeder that they were chasing down?" And then obviously the argument is, Boba Fett's going to be a crime lord. He's got to get people to do it for him instead of doing it himself. But there is arguments for and against. But for me, I'm like, well, this is the Book of Boba Fett. I want to see Boba Fett kick ass. I don't want to see other people do it for him. I just feel a lot of people came to this show to see Boba Fett kick ass, not get other people to do it for him.
James, I told you my expectations were low. I just wanted him to manage. My expectations were low, and even at the bar I said it at, I'm like, yeah, you can't. I just wanted him to manage to become the new hotel manager for Jabba's palace. That was it, and have political situations. Not him walking into town exposed to the elements because he couldn't. I just don't get it. The whole shield ninjas, like, ew, dude. Like, he got his ass kicked by shield ninjas, and then he had an asthma attack, and then they rushed him back to the back of tank. That's episode 1. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. No, no.
Well, look, he did in episode 3 get gifted a Rancor, and he says he wants to learn to ride it. So look, if Boba Fett's going to ride a Rancor, I'm pretty keen to see that.
In hindsight, it's a shame that the Star Wars collectors didn't back that HasLab Rancor. Boy, it's a shame they didn't see that coming, because I predicted that there would be a Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett. I'm pretty positive that I was on Nate's Geeking Out show, and I'm pretty positive, Nate, that I said we can pretty much expect a Rancor. Not to expect a Rancor in the book of Boba Fett would be very idiotic. And I know Nate's on there. Deal's coming to wait, Blazer. But hey, I got my Rancor, so I'm cool.
Yeah, look, honestly, Denobi, that Sideshow 1/6 Rancor is awesome. I could have got it, and look, I've got the room, but I'd prefer to dedicate the room to other stuff, and I think I would have got in a bit of trouble bringing something that large into the house. I barely was able to get Jabba in the door without
getting busted.
Without getting told to pitch a tent in the backyard and sleep there for a week.
Oh goodness! Look at this, and look at this. Let's jump on the sideshow here. Let's bitch about sideshow here for a second here, shall we?
You weren't kidding when you were saying you want to have a bitch.
I told you, I was like, I'm feeling kind of bitchy tonight. I want to bitch about Star Wars. But I told you I need a Star Wars like love boy to counterattack me, because I didn't want to look like an asshole tonight.
Well, I've probably got around another half an hour, 30
well,
minutes in me.
I'm gonna end it in a few minutes here anyway. But I was gonna end it with just a quick look at the sideshow's inventory. Captain Rex, I think is he ready? Just arrived. All right, so I clicked it on the stream here.
I'm still waiting. My Tusken Raider should land at my door in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm pretty keen for them.
Rusty Boy, Denobi, did you see the George Costanza mobility scooter? I've seen the memes. I saw the one where it was Mario Kart in the streets of Tatooine with the rainbow colored scooters. I saw that, and when you see memes being made on a show in poor taste, that's usually a sign of things to come. And look, these episodes have been filmed and they're uploaded to the Disney servers. This is it, right? What you're seeing is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the exact same special effects, the exact same writers, the exact same storylines. I'm telling you, you're gonna get more flashbacks. You're going to get him having more asthma attacks where he's being rushed to the back of tank. So
maybe he caught the variant, breathing.
And then, but yet I see the comments. But it's going to be kind of cool when he's running a Rancor. Oh, that's all it takes. That's what you're looking for. And there's going to be an epic battle of him on a Rancor. Okay, but how about the story? What? I don't get it. I'm telling you, my expectations were really, really low. Geeking out, choosing between Boba Fett's and moments. No, go ahead, James. What's that?
No, I was going to say, if Blitzway does put their Ghostbusters stuff up, if it's between buying shit from the book of Boba Fett or buying an Ecto-1, I know what I'm picking.
You gotta, yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding? You gotta.
The
you gotta go.
Can burn in hell for all I care. I'm getting an Ecto-1.
You gotta get an Ecto-1 or Ghostbusters. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole Blitzway nonsense there. A lot of empty promises there.
They did that collab with Prime One. So on the Dune, Paul Atreides. So maybe they're holding out for a little bit longer. But dude, I finally got to see Ghostbusters. By the way, it came out in Australia.
Oh, good, huh? Fun, right? Did you like it?
Can I say, I was in it, and like, let's just say this: I was a casual Ghostbusters fan. I was in tears, literal tears at the end, and it was so heartwarming the whole way through. I got a very Spielbergian feel from the whole film.
Yeah.
And the ending just, I don't know.
It's a good film. It's fun.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I saw someone say on YouTube it was basically, because it is a similar story to the first Ghostbusters. Someone said it was The Force Awakens done right.
Yeah. It's where's
because
the merch?
It brought the old gang back together, and that's something The Force Awakens never did.
No. Boy, what a disaster that was. How do you not do that? That's bonkers. So, to end the stream, going on SciShow's website, we have figures here that were predicted by most online influencers that were going to either be into waitlist or sold out by this point in time. I am shocked.
Nothing's going to sell out.
Nothing's going to sell out. No, not anytime soon anyway. It's starting to pile up. The armor, which is I think it was a Toy Fair exclusive. I mean, she's not going anywhere. This is
I told you, dude. I'm not getting it. I don't care for it.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, she's a limited run exclusive, and you can essentially pick her up.
But Zenobi, this was the same with Marty. He was 600. There was only. Everyone thought he was going to be limited. They said there was going to be 600 or whatever in bloody Hong Kong, and they're printing him like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they're printing him like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. And so you see now my logic where we're not going to get the rest of the Bad Batch team anytime soon.
Look, they're doing season 2. I reckon we might get at least 1 or 2 more. But as I said to you, Wreck is going to be the cyborg of the Bad Batch. Wrecker is going to be the cyborg. Everyone's got the 4 of them, and we're either never going to get him or we're going to wait like 10 years. It's gonna be.
Yeah. There's just no way. Not when collectors aren't stepping up to the plate like this. It's all dead stock. That's why it's like you have over 70 plus figures between pre-orders and sitting in stock. These aren't $20 action figures. This stuff isn't going anywhere. That's going to be it for my rant. Hopefully, collectors out there will.
Rant for longer.
Well, it's 2 hours. I'm approaching the 2-hour mark, and I do work tomorrow. So I did start at midnight. Yeah, it's almost 2 o'clock here, and I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here. I think most collectors who are listening have gotten the message. I'm like, look, knock off the day one pre-order shenanigans. You're going to get yourself in trouble. There's no reason for you to spend $700 into the 2-pack of Boba Fett, which...
Unless you're a reviewer or money is of no concern.
Yeah.
You've got money coming out of your ass.
I mean, but even then, though, I mean, even if you have like why? I just don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't know. I mean, I get it that you want to have the figure first, but you don't stick around in this game playing that game, right? It just, unfortunately, it doesn't work. You eventually end up tapping out, and logically, financially, it just doesn't make sense. And then, especially with the possibility of that, that line could crash. I still feel it may possibly crash. I'm thinking probably 70-80%. If the last several episodes aren't the miracle that collectors want to believe it is, it's gonna affect the line, and it's gonna bring it down, and I sympathize, thoughts and prayers to the individuals who feel that this is a phenomenal show. I mean, I listened to he's probably gonna listen to this. I was listening to PJ's stream talking about episode 3, and you think he was describing Citizen Kane. You thought it was like a Hollow. You thought it was a Hollow, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna get shit from PJ. PJ, I love you if you're listening to this. He's probably in bed. But you thought he was describing. I just watched Citizen Kane, and I'm just like, I go. Is that what you think, PJ? Because I just jumped off of Will Fox's vacation stream, and he said it was. He said it was 2 miles of bad road. So I don't. You see what I'm? It's very decisive, and again,
even Star Wars Theory, I think he was a bit underwhelmed with the.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and I'm gonna have to find the meme. We as hot toy Star Wars collectors, we are blinded by love, and I don't understand why you would love this version of Boba Fett. I mean, for me, my Boba Fett is Jeremy Bulloch. Hell, I even love Jango Fett, for crying out loud. I thought he was cool in Attack of the Clones.
My favorite Boba is still the one with the Sarlacc pit. My
The
favorite figure. My favorite Boba figure is still the one with the Sarlacc pit.
the one that he falls inside and doesn't climb out. That Boba Fett. I'll agree with you.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
love that figure. That's my favorite Boba Fett figure.
Damn right. What did we get? Cool. Hate train. No hate, Nate. Damn right, Captain Rex. You guys, Nate, were you part of that entourage that said Captain Rex was going to sell out and go on a wait list December? I'm going to have to look at the archives. I got notes on you, Nate. Were you part of the? Did Nate and Dom Prime talking about? Captain Rex will sell out by Christmas. Him and a few other cats. I'm gonna get shit from him. All right, I'm done. I need to go to bed. James, I wish I would have had you earlier. That way you could have throttled my dark side hatred. But no, I don't hate, guys. Guys, I don't hate. No, I don't. People are gonna think I'm. No, look. I am licensed. I'm licensed to talk about Star Wars, folks. Look, I'm licensed. It's one of the... Not many collectors can say that they're licensed to talk about certain IPs. Luckily, I am. I got Ghostbusters. I got Marvel. I got DC. You kids out there, didn't believe in Zack Snyder's vision. I got it. I got this, I got the Justice League. I got my conservative selection of Star Wars. So I'm not going to quit Hot Toy Star Wars, though. But I do love clipping coupons. That's going to be it for me. James, you want to say goodnight to the kids out there?
Thanks for having me, Denobi, and thanks everyone for tuning in, and hit the like button, subscribe.
Absolutely.
And it's always a pleasure to come onto your stream and talk Star Wars and all things collecting, Denobi. It is.
Because remember, it's listen to me, because I was there.
I was there, Doc. I was there 3,000 years ago.
I love that. I don't have anything else to go with that. That's just dead. All right, let's check out of here. We're Bo.